Title: The Ancient Computer That Shouldn't Exist. Description: deep beneath the Aegean Sea, a 2,000-year-old wreck revealed something that rewrites everything we thought we knew about ancient technology. A bronze device with gears so complex it wouldn't be matched for another 1,400 years. This is the Antikythera Mechanism, and its secrets are only now being fully understood. Tags: Ancient Technology, Antikythera Mechanism, Archaeological Discovery, Ancient Mysteries, Lost Knowledge. Script: in the summer of 1901, a group of sponge divers off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera made a discovery that would haunt archaeologists for over a century. They were looking for sponges. They found a shipwreck, but inside that wreck, buried under layers of crust and corrosion, was something that looked like a lump of rock. It was nothing special to look at, but when that rock cracked open months later, it revealed a mechanism so sophisticated, so far ahead of its time, that some academics refused to believe it was real, because inside that rock was a machine with bronze gears, precision-cut teeth, and intricate inscriptions, a machine that, by all rights, should not have existed in the ancient world. We are talking, of course, about the Antikythera Mechanism, and if you think you know this story, think again, because recent research has pulled back the curtain on what this device actually was, and the truth is even more astonishing than the legend. Let me set the scene. The year is 60 BCE. A Roman ship, probably carrying loot from the Greek islands, sails through the Aegean. It is a large vessel, about 40 meters long, loaded with luxury goods, statues, glassware, jewelry, and something else, something precious. Inside a small wooden chest, carefully packed, sits a box the size of a shoebox. On its face, there are dials. Behind them, a labyrinth of hand-cut bronze gears. This is a computer. Not a computer in the modern sense, but a mechanical calculator designed to model the cosmos. When you turn its crank, the gears move, dials spin, and you can read the positions of the sun, the moon, and the planets. You can predict eclipses. You can even track the timing of the Olympic Games. Poetic, isn't it? A machine made to understand the heavens, resting at the bottom of the sea. For decades after its discovery, the mechanism was a mystery. X-ray images from the 1970s showed gear wheels, but they were too blurry to make out the details. It was like trying to read a book that had been burned and soaked and trampled. But then, in 2005, a team of researchers used a new technology called microfocus X-ray computed tomography. Think of it as a CT scan for ancient artifacts. They could see inside the corroded bronze, layer by layer, and what they found was staggering. The mechanism had at least 30 gears, arranged in a complex cascade. The largest gear had 223 teeth. Why 223? Because that is the number of months in the Saros cycle, a period of roughly 18 years after which eclipses repeat. This was not a random number. This was deliberate design. The ancient Greeks had calculated the motion of the heavens with such precision that they could encode it into metal. They had built a machine that could tell you when the next solar eclipse would occur, centuries into the future. But that is only the beginning. Recent research has shown that the mechanism was even more advanced than we thought. In 2021, a team from University College London published a study that reconstructed the entire front face of the device. They found that it had a display showing the 5 planets known to the Greeks: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These planets moved on epicycles, which are complex looping paths that appear in the sky because we are watching from a moving Earth. To model that with gears, you need to use differential rotation, a technique that modern engineers use in car axles. The Antikythera Mechanism had that 2,000 years ago. Let that sink in. The first surviving record of differential gearing in European history is from the 16th century in the clock towers of the Renaissance. The Antikythera Mechanism predates that by over 1,500 years. It is the oldest known analog computer in existence, and it is not a one-off either. The historian Cicero wrote about a similar device built by Archimedes, a bronze sphere that showed the motions of the heavens. That sphere has been lost to time, but the Antikythera Mechanism proves that such machines were real. They were not myths. So who built it? The inscriptions on the mechanism are in Greek, and the astronomical knowledge matches that of the school of Hipparchus, a Greek astronomer from the 2nd century BCE. Hipparchus discovered the precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of Earth's axis that takes 26,000 years to complete one cycle. The mechanism includes a mechanism to account for the moon's elliptical orbit, which Hipparchus had worked out. It is very likely that he had a hand in its design, but here is where the mystery deepens. The ship that carried the mechanism was Roman. It was likely transporting Greek treasures to Rome. That means the device was considered valuable enough to ship across the sea. It was not a toy. It was an instrument of science, perhaps used by a philosopher, a general, or even a priest. The Temple of Zeus at Olympia, for instance, had a calendar that tracked the games. The mechanism could have been used to set the dates of religious festivals, which were tied to lunar and solar cycles. Imagine the power of knowing when the gods would appear in the sky, when the sun would darken, when the moon would turn red. That knowledge was power. And yet, for all its sophistication, the Antikythera mechanism vanished from history. No other example has ever been found. Why? One theory is that the technology was too specialized. It required a master craftsman with knowledge of both astronomy and gear cutting, a rare combination. When that craftsman died, the knowledge died with him. Another theory is that the mechanism was suppressed by the Roman Empire, which preferred simpler methods of timekeeping, like sundials and water clocks. The gears were too complex, too expensive, too fragile. They were a dead end.